Hey, welcome, thanks for stopping by. It's time to learn with our friend Clive. So grab your brush, have a great time. And don't forget to click subscribe. Visit clive5art.co.uk.
Hello, and thank you very much for taking up my invitation and joining me in the studio. Didn't know what camera I was looking at. Yes, welcome to the studio, painting away the stress of everyday life. Yes, lovely. Okay, so let's go straight to the palette. Yes, there you go. You can see we're going to be using Liquitex Basics today. Yes, I've had some of them given to me, so I thought let's give them a try. Never used Liquitex before, so it's going to be a new one for me. I've got a standard selection of brushes, as you know. I've got a couple of details, I got a filbert, I got a script lining brush, and I got some short flats. Easy as that. I've got my mix, my water mix there. There's you can just use water if you want to, as long as you keep it to the 30 to 45% rule, or you can put some additive in it. Now I use my medium mix additive in there to stop some binding. And I've got some retarder, some flow improver, and a little bit of medium there. Also, I'm using this Liquitex paint. There we go, Liquitex Basics. Yes, never used these before. These are $3.99 in Hobbycraft. Yes. So, but there are other websites on the internet that you can get these from, and Ken Bromley is one of them. So, if you have a look at this website there, and if you click onto this link, if you click onto the link below. I'll actually get some credits for that. So if you want to order your stuff, if you're in the UK, try Ken Bromley's website out and get some paints from there. And yeah, just use the identification number underneath. Little code. If you put that code in, then they know that I've sent you. And I get something. That's nice, isn't it? Yes. Okay, permanent, water resistant and flexible when dry. Oh, something I didn't know. No, I'm only joking. Primary yellow, that's all that is, a primary yellow. I've got some cadmium light, but I've also got some cadmium medium, and I got some titanium white and Mars black, or black. I don't know what black that is. I think it's Mars black. I didn't look at the label. But, so, let's get straight on to this, shall we? Okay, so I'm just going to put my brushes about there so I can access them quickly. Now, I don't know if you remember this one. Don't you remember me painting that African sunset? Yes, in the iCards. If you haven't seen it, it's in the iCards. So I thought, as you know, what I'm in the middle of doing is trying to put a couple of lessons together to make a lesson, if that makes any sense. So I thought, yes, I'm going to use that background on you, and I'm going to put, I did a moonlight bird years ago. One of the first videos I did. It's quite popular, and I thought, well, let's put something in there with a bird or something. But using that principle, and you can do these backgrounds in any colour you want. I'm using a 30 by 40 centimetre canvas. It's a 15 by 12. It's been double primed, and it's had a quick coating of primary yellow on it, just to get that whiteness of the canvas away, basically. So I'm going to pick up some of this lovely, lovely paint. It feels creamy to the touch, and I'm going to just use that without any water or any fluid on it, just for the moment. I want to see how that actually goes onto the canvas, because I've not used this particular medium before. I am going to be using my fine mist atomizer bottle if I need it, so I'm going to put that by there, so easy access. And I'm going to bring that around. This is an old canvas. I've painted on this canvas previously. I'm picking up a little bit of that cadmium light, and I thought the cadmium light is quite nice because it gives a nice orange flavour. Cadmium medium is a little bit darker, so just bring a bit more just to the tip of my brush, and I'm going to just bring that in like this, spreading it, and it's spreading quite nice actually. I quite like the way that is actually going in on the canvas. There we are. Nice. And then a bit more red than yellow now, and I'm going to go around there like that. It's quite a thin paint, it doesn't need any water, I don't think. At the moment it's working quite nice. So I haven't thinned this with anything at the moment. It's just paint as it is, out of the tube. I'm quite impressed. Some paints need a little bit of moisture in order to get that blend in quite right. As you can hear, it's raining again in Wales. It certainly is. I'm going to get another short flat, and I'm going to very quickly, from the centre out, this is a dry brush. Well, not dry brush, it's a damp brush, I should say, because I have had it in soaking. I'm just don't want to go back into that centre yellow. I just want to bring this out and I'm just blending with this brush now. Just blending this out. Blending this out. Do I need to get a blender, I wonder? Yes, it is skidding across the surface just a little bit. So maybe I do need to get a blending brush. So I'm going to pick up one of my blending brushes, and I'm just going to very lightly just take, very lightly, tickle in the back of the hand. That's the pressure you want, is tickle in the back of your hand like that. And I hope you've joined me in the studio before and you know what I'm talking about. But that's the pressure you need to acquire in order just to smooth, buff the surface up. Just to smooth that surface up. I haven't used any water yet. I am really impressed. So far so good. I'm just putting them there, keeping an eye on them and going into the cadmium medium. Now this is a little bit darker than that one. Again, I'm taking that in around the edge like this. Picking up a bit of that cadmium light. Just want to bleed that in like that. It's a little bit darker than I thought. I've never used these paints before. I'm just going to bring up a little bit of yellow. I'm picking up a bit of that yellow. That's primary yellow into there. We can play with that in a minute. We want that transition really, don't we? Want that transition. There we go. Let's mix a little bit of the medium and a little bit of the... I've got a little bit of medium and a little bit of the light there. So there's two colours on the brush. So let's just get that in and see what happens to this. I don't mind the corners because I want them to be a little bit more dark in there. Bringing that down around and just play with the paint. And you can use any paint. It doesn't have to be this particular manufacturer. If you haven't got any of this particular manufacturer, which is Liquitex Basics, and they are a nice smooth paint, as you can see. You can use any paint. It doesn't really matter. There's plenty of paints out there, and you can do it. And the technique is actually the same. All I'm doing is just looking at this particular manufacturer and seeing how that works for me. And I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be coming back in there shortly with a little bit more yellow, I think. So I'm just going to just continue this to the outer edge. I'm going to get a little bit of that medium there. I'm going to add a touch of black to it just to darken that off. There we are. It looks more like a crimson now because it's got quite dark. So I just added a little bit of black to it. And there's blue in that particular Mars Black, I hope. Mars Black is normally got blue in it. And that's what I was relying on, because it will go a little bit purpley. And you can see it's got a nice crimson colour. And let's just do the vignette around the edge of this canvas. Let's get a little bit more of that paint and a small touch, only a small amount, look, small amount. Don't want a lot of black, don't darken it up too much. And it's still working, it's still working. This is a lovely paint. Hey, I might be sold. I like this paint. As I said, if you want to pop along to Ken Bromley, and that's a UK based internet shop where I buy most of my products from, actually. If I can I can't find them locally, and then I'll always go into that shop, into that website, and as I said, use the product code, and I'll have some credits for that which I can use to buy some material as well. So if you want to pop along there and check that out, that would be awesome. And it's not just paints and paintbrushes they sell everything there, so really nice. Let's just get that smooth transition. I like the word transition. It's a nice word, transition. Whoa, that's nice. I like that immensely. I really do. Now what I'm going to do is go back into this clean brush. I'm going to pick up some of this primary yellow. I think it's a primary yellow, this one. Yes, it is. It's a primary yellow. And a primary yellow, a primary red basically. And I also had a bit of blue as well sent to me, so I can make every colour that you can imagine out of those 3 tubes of paint. I can. Yes, you can. Every colour you can imagine, just bringing that yellow in, brightening up that spot there. Bringing that in, and it is really nice, and now I'm starting to get that resistance of it. The paint is saying to me, Clive, I'm going to start to lift if you carry on. You can feel the paint dragging on the brush. It's getting a little bit more difficult to play with. Now what you could do is use an atomizer bottle, but you've got to be very careful, because when you do this you can actually lift the paint, so you've got to be careful. And if you use a standard spray bottle, the droplets are too big, but even with an atomizer you can still get that problem. But you've just got to be very careful, and you stand back at a distance like that, especially when the paint is this dry or starting to turn, and you might see the odd little circle there, a little dip, and that's not so much. It hasn't happened too much this time. I'm just going to wipe that brush, picking up a bit more yellow, bringing a bit more yellow in. There we go. Let's just add a little touch of white to that yellow. Why? Because the yellow is quite transparent, but it's basically what I want to do is just make it a little bit more opaque, because I want to get this feel of this going around a nice even circle like that. There's a bit of a glow, basically. That's what I'm looking for. A glow. There we go. Just that little bit of a glow like that. You can play with this for hours. Well, until it dries. Not literally hours, no. I could. Let it dry and do it again. And I love this type of painting. It makes me happy when I paint with colours in this way. It doesn't pay just to be completely traditional, you know. It pays to venture out and enjoy the painting process and smoothing that surface out. I say no hair and some air, and what I'm saying is tickling the back of your hand. Tickle the back of your hand. There you go. Now I'm going to dry that off with a hairdryer, and I'm going to wash my brushes. That's nice and dry. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself a little filbert brush. I'm going to get myself a little bit of white very, very quickly. Just getting that on the tip of my brush like that. Can you see that? Yes, you can. And I'm going to pick a point, and I'm just going to put a little circle in like that. Very, very easy like that. Now I'm going to wash that very quickly. And I wash my brushes using warm water in the right hand pail and clean water in the left hand pail, and a little bit of brush soap, and what I actually do then is I dispose of my paint water. And if you want to know how I dispose of my paint water safely, please click the iCards. That's important. Okay, got that blending brush. So not the one I just used. This is a nice clean brush. And because you need to keep these dry. So you need a few of these actually if you're going to be doing this type of technique. And I'm very, very lightly now touching, hardly touching this white on there. And I'm just going to diffuse that very lightly like that. Okay, let's do that. Let's put a bit more white on there. That's better. I didn't put enough paint on there. That's what happens when you talk. There you go. Let's try again. There we go. Bring it out from the centre like that, like as if it's a bit of a glow. There we are. How does that look? It looks pretty good. Hey, yes, I'm going to just wipe this brush very quickly like this. There's not a lot of paint on that brush, so you can basically rub it clean. There you go. Okay, we need to get rid of those brushes now. I don't think we need them anymore. I'm picking up a short flat. This is a 1/2 inch short flat. There you go. There we are, one of them. Picking up some black. Mixing some black into that red. We've got a nice red black. There we are. Let's try to use this red up. Now we're going to think what we're going to do. I want to put a tree or something in, so I think I'm just going to do that. There we go. And you've got to make these decisions sometimes. You really got to be like, yeah, it's going there. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Type of thing. There you go. So that tree is just catching the edge of the canvas like that. And we put a bit more black on this one edge because that's in shadow there. Put some black in there. This is lovely paint actually. I don't know if you've noticed, but I haven't used a lot of water or thinning agent. I've just been using Liquitex Basics. And yes, it is the basic range, and they're really good paints actually. This is 118 mil, that's 4 US fluid ounces. Permanence rating is pretty good. Flowability is pretty good, and I'm quite impressed. I really am. I'm quite impressed. I should be buying some more of that. And if it makes my life easier, then that's what it's all about. Get a bit of red coming down that edge there like that. Doesn't look much like a tree, Clive. Yeah, well, it will. You know me. If you've painted with me before, you know me. Okay, so I'm going to take that out. From there on a little bit of an arch like that. See? Now that looks more realistic. A little bit of a bump there. Looks more realistic. Now, whoa, my first bit of moisture into that paint. Why? Because I want this to run quite smooth across this paint. Now, I did that painting I told you about, didn't I? That moonlit bird that I did on a small canvas. A little bit of moisture. Because now I want this paint to be a little bit thinner and I want it to move a bit. Moonlit bird, yes, so I put a bird on a branch, so I'm thinking I've used this African sunset one to do the background. Let's just get this branch out. Let's just put a little branch there maybe, and we'll put another little branch just sticking up there. I guess that'll give our eyes something to look at. And let's get our script lining brush. This is a number 2 script lining brush. There you are. I'm going to put some moisture onto this brush now because I need to make this paint a little bit thinner. Try to keep within the 30% to 45% rule if you can, but it's a bit difficult trying to work out how much fluid you're putting into your paint, how much moisture you're putting into your paint. If you have measured it, That's what I find. There we go. And then just pull this brush to a nice sharp point. Allow that brush just to come out and move and bend and twist on its own, really. So it comes up, little Y, little V, another little V. Remember me saying this before? Don't have to put many of these in. Just put a little ting, you have. Any which way you want. And now we're coming down that way like that. There you go, a little bit. Another one there. Gonna make those noises. Sound like Bob Ross, that. So all those years of watching Mr. Ross paint, you pick up some of the mannerisms. Okay, so I'm going to the back end of my brush now. I'm holding my brush further back, and I'm putting the brush on. And as I'm moving the brush, I'm twisting my fingers around. If you look at the brush, you can see me twisting and turning the brush, and I'm just pulling off very gently. I'll do that again. Twisting the brush, pulling off very gently, and that's what I do when I'm doing these. You don't see that. You don't see that. You don't see what people do. I'm trying to show you that that's the motion you need to get, and be loose, be free with that. There you go. Put another little one just sticking up there, just a branch snapped off. A squirrel come along and landed on that and snapped it. It certainly did. Let's get this tree come up there like that. That's another funny old winkly wonky one, that is. Get that to come up there like that. And that's going to go like that. And that's going to go a funny old tree, that one. It doesn't matter what it looks like, because guess what? Trees don't mind what they look like. Trees grow, and they can be any shape, anything they want to be. They are. I'll plans for that one in a minute. How's that looking? It's quite whimsical. I like whimsical. It's a nice word, whimsical. It certainly is. I've seen that somewhere before, and I can't remember where I seen that word, whimsical. I don't know where that word come from. I'm going to have a sip of tea. Nice. Okay, so I'm picking up a number 4 detail brush. I'm just going to moisten that into some water, because I want the bristles to pick up a little bit of moisture. And I'm going to go back into this black and red mix, and now we're going to have a bit of fun. Now I've got to decide what I'm going to do here, because I think I'm going to put I'm not going to do a normal bird. I'm going to do an owl, I think, today. And I'm going to do a circle like that, because this could be sunrise or it could be sunset. It depends what you want in your world. Is it a sunrise or is it a sunset? I don't know. Let's put a nice... I like this paint. I do. There you go. Put a bit more black to that. I want to blacken that up a bit more, a little bit more thickness to it. My paint's got a little bit thin because I've added a little bit moisture to it to thin it down to do the branches. So I wanted to add a bit more paint to that. And let's just get his shape correct. So he's going to be sitting like that somehow. And he's going to be coming out, and he's got a couple of shoulders like that. So it's quite easy shape. There's no tracing for this. You're going to have to try and do this yourself. And I think it's important that you learn and do things like that. So it's really simple, isn't it? It looks like a bowling pin. Yes, just draw a bowling pin on a branch. That's all you need to do. You certainly do. Now I could put his tail in there, but I tell you what I'll do. I'll just, because his tail is not going to be that long, but I'll just put a little bit, just a hint of a tail. Just a hint, Mr. Powell, just a hint, and Mr. Owl, I should say. Just put a little bit of a lumpy bit coming out of there. Look, there's his wing, see? How easy is that? Oh! Now we've got to think of his little ear there, and another little ear coming out like that. I've done a lot of owls lately, I don't know why. I'm going to let that dry. What I'm going to do now is up here, I'm going to put a little bird sitting up on the branch like that. Oh, easy as that. Does that look like a bird? I don't know. Does it look like a bird? Doesn't matter. That's all do. I'll do. Put a little bird flying like that. Now it's looking nice. I quite like that. As we're waiting for that to dry, let's get some of the light and a little bit of yellow. Let's lighten that red up. It's already quite light, that red. Let's just get a little bit of light coming down that branch like that. Look, you see I'm sitting on a funny angle. There you go. It's a bit difficult sometimes to paint when you're sitting on an angle, and I need to put some of this on his side like that. Just pick up a couple of little feathers, look. Pick up a couple of little feathers, because you never know. You could have a little bit of reflective highlight. Reflective highlight is light that's reflecting from another surface. That is important you remember these things. There you go, just a little bit of light like that. Can you see that? I don't know. Let's put a little bit of white to that. Let's just change that colour up a bit. That's a little bit better, isn't it? There you go, you can see that now maybe. And then just put a little bit of light there and a little bit of light on that branch like that. Oh, that's cute. I like that. I quite like these paintings. I find these paintings very therapeutic. So get some white and bring that white up into that yellow. Get that, twist your brush like that, look, twist your brush. Twist your brush. And these paints are basics. Yes, basics from Liquitex. Really nice. I urge you to try them. Okay, so let's put a little bit of light, because he's got big eyes like that. And let's just put a little bit of light like that. There you go. Just wiping our brush off clean. Get into a excuse me. Get into a nice sharp point. And I get a very small amount of white just on the tip of my brush like that. I'm just going to put a little tiny dot there like that. And I really do enjoy these paintings, and I really do enjoy this particular one, and I think it's wonderful. And all it remains me to do today is just sign my name in the bottom corner, and I'm going to call this painting done. So please click the iCards. I ask and invite you to subscribe to the channel, because I've got over 400 videos, and please like, comment. Also, give me a thumbs up if you could possibly do that. And if you like what you've seen, then please pop along to the main page. Yeah, the iCard there will have the main page in it, and then you can click on the notifications button. So every time I upload a video, you're going to get notified of that. But in the meantime, enjoy this one, have a bit of fun, and try using my lessons and putting them together and come up with different ideas. That's what I urge you to do. So have a good day, a good week, a good month, a good year, because I don't know exactly when you're going to be watching this, as time is relative on YouTube, and I will see you in the studio for another lesson. Bye. Right.